Welcome to episode 25 of Rogue Mode 0 to 480 in Flight of Nova. We are at level 35. We only have to go to 40. So 5 more levels to go. Wonder why this mission doesn't look right. I'm gonna delete it. We are at base N86. Alright, so we're in sector 84. Station Norbig. Pick up hydrogen. What are we in? We are in the freighter. And we need to get to Norvig as the first part of the mission. Oh. We might fail that. I'm gonna definitely fail that. This station is, well, let's try to pick up this hydrogen. Hour and 40 minutes. Let's just see what happens when we run that rendezvous for a minute. If it looks like we're going to be within range of Norvig and within an hour and 40 minutes, okay. 1 hour, 6 minutes till our departure time. Easy. We got it. We'll make it. We'll be pushing our limits. We'll have 25 minutes to make it to orbit. Now we'll have 35 minutes. We'll make it really easy. It's fine. We'll get there and then we'll probably just have to re-enter. And I don't know what my XP is, but I'm pretty sure that'll put us to level 36. I think we're getting really close to level 36. So if I manage to get 2 big missions in a row, then we might actually go all the way to level 37 here within about an hour. Which would be pretty good, because then we're only a couple levels away from level 40, which we will never reach. So the game actually doesn't make it to 40, it just fills 39 and then stops. Alright, so at negative 3.4, so we need to go north and east. Oh geez, that was close. Alright, so we're gonna go more east than that. We need to go pretty north. We need to go north pretty fierce. And so because of our offset, actually, I think we're gonna go a little bit steeper than 50, because we are going to 750, and that will cover a lot of extra distance. And rather than being behind, right there like that. Almost crashed into that building right there. Apoapsis is nearing 750. We'll go a little bit above that. Negative 2.8 latitude. Our inclination is insane. So I think we're definitely going to be zeroing our latitude before we reach 750 kilometers. So that was probably a little bit too far to the north. But we'll just go ahead and get all the way to latitude 0 and then 0 out our inclination. Oh wait, we need to move. We need to burn south for that. I don't know, we're at 300 kilometers altitude. They don't give us the lat in that other screen. We are at lat negative 1.8 already, so we're halfway there. And we're halfway there. But actually our lat should change more quickly as we get higher altitude because we're going to be moving more horizontally. Yeah, you can see our direction, our vector indicator is steadily dropping as we get higher up, and you can see our FPA is dropping, but our velocity is not dropping that much. Almost to 500 kilometers, but we are at lat negative 0.9. I don't know, that might have been the perfect amount of offset. And we might just have to burn north or southeast for our circularization. It's going to be cutting it close. Zero 0.3, 0.2, 0.1. Start burning now. Hopefully I got this timing pretty good. 600 kilometers altitude. We want to have a 0 inclination in the latitude 0. So pretty good. Alright, that station is getting pretty close, but we're actually only at 650. So it might be time to burn already. 264 kilometers, 250 kilometers. So our altitude is under target. So I'm gonna go ahead and burn a little bit early so I don't fall way behind. Or it's not early. That's what I mean. So at this point, we just need to get our velocity up to like 7,200 meters per second. And then really that's all we're worried about. And we need to burn back to the planet to kill our apoapsis. Worry about circularization. We need to do that already as well. Alright, we're burning it hard. Let's see where we are. Alright, we're okay. I was worried about that, but we're actually okay. Alright, we have 35 minutes to pick up hydrogen, but I do want to go to a dock port first when I have that kind of time. Sure is a lot of time. I'm 100% sure we'll make it. I'll just get a dock port right next to that landing pad. I do think there's going to be a dock port right there on the end of this. There's one right there. Number 12. Couldn't have done it better if I tried. I don't know, I think that might be an internal pad. Alright, which side do I try here? Let's see how to get in there. It's probably the other direction. But I'll try this end over here. I got 30 minutes. Oh, here it is. Could have went either way. Broom Larson. Other side of the planet. So, we'll go to a dock port. We'll wait for the time skip over at that dock port. Is there one over here? Otherwise I'm going back to my old familiar. Re-entry window for Broom Larson. Alright, so we're up at 750. So I went at about 5,000, but really I went like 5,100 kilometers separation distance to target last time. So we're gonna go for that 5,000, 5,100 again. I think that 5,100 was good enough. All right, and we just need to be burning negative 90. We're gonna go to a negative 15 FPA. Norvig is gigantic. Check for an offset. There's a tiny one. So a little bit of a dog leg. We went too far, but that's okay. Now the next thing that's going to happen is we're going to burn vertical. Change our FPA at the right time to settle gently into the atmosphere instead of crashing into it. Here goes Da Costa Station. So now we just wait until we're at the right altitude. I'm gonna probably want to be around 120 with the freight container, but I don't know if our FPA takes down to about 12 or something like that as we get closer. Maybe about 130 might even be a little bit more conservative. And then ultimately we want to be 1,000 kilometers out from the target, roughly. 1,200 is fine, 900 is pushing it, and about 53 kilometers altitude. 80 kilometers is one recognized boundary of space. 100 kilometers is another recognized boundary of space. And in this game, it starts giving you an atmospheric drag that will affect your rotation about 120 kilometers. And the planet is supposed to be a lot like Earth, I believe. I mean, it has the same gravity and I think about the same atmosphere. Atmosphere is not something that's fixed, though. Really, the time of day changes the thickness of the atmosphere at higher altitudes and how far the atmosphere extends out into space. So at night, when all the air cools down, then it's much thicker right at the bottom of the atmosphere, right towards the ground. It's much thinner at higher altitudes. So at nighttime, that's when you get all the good radio signals. You get good radio reception because the atmosphere settles down to the ground. And at higher altitudes, there's less atmosphere. During the day, where the air is hot, and the atmosphere can be billowing up to higher altitudes. 200 kilometers altitude. So now we only got about another 80 kilometers to drop before we need to cancel out some of our FPA. We have quite a bit of more FPA than I expected at this point. More negative. So I'm not sure what's different. Maybe the dog leg. I'm going to reduce it already. There's our air density. Oh my goodness. What happened? Alright, so we're going to kill more of our FPA than I normally would, because we're still pretty far from the target. I'm gonna kill it a lot. Like almost all the way. And then we'll fall from here. So now we're not falling, we're going up. Very gently. And we're just gonna glide from here. We are actually barely below orbital velocity. So you can see our periapsis is actually negative, that's below the ground. Unless you had a big valley, then it might work out. That's a pretty deep valley though. But maybe if it was like the planet dried out and all the oceans dried out and then it cracked this big chasm, then it might work. Alright, so I'm not sure what to do here. I think what I'm going to do is about... I'm going to have to dive. I don't think it's going to naturally dive well enough. The freight is heavy. So I have lots of inertia. Maybe about 1,300 kilometers. I'm going to dive a little bit to try to pull my FPA down. Try to pull myself down a little lower into the atmosphere. If I was a little farther out, then I would expect that I would just naturally fall perfectly, but I don't think that's going to happen in time. So I'm going to nose down, and then my FPA will drop more because I'm kind of flying at the ground at that point. And I want to get some amount of FPA. I want to get some kind of angle down. Kind of swan dive. It might be more effective just by rolling. Alright. We really needed to dive. way overshooting at this point. I think we're still going to be fine. We're burning a little bit, but we're not yet taking damage. We're already zeroing out. And we have a lot of overshoot that we're worrying about here. We are really overshooting. So I want to stay as hot as possible. We are really gonna get hot. I don't think we might not even make it. Taking a lot of damage. I'm trying to slow down quickly. Alright, but it's over now. How far off are we? Not that bad. Still got a little bit of engines left. Alright, so when I go long, I need to still get a little bit lower into the atmosphere earlier on. So I don't have to do that so steeply right at the end there. But better to be all busted up than way overshot, I guess. I mean, not in real life, but in the game. We are then in Broom Larson. So I don't know if that's gonna give us any opportunities or not, but
unidentified craft. Base 159 ground. Copy your emergency. Equipment is standing by.
they're gonna take care of me. So it's really important that when I switch to VTOL, I don't have any downward momentum because my engines are just not that powerful right now, having been all damaged up by the re-entry.
Freighter TL
see him dropping so hard. I might not even make it. We're gonna have to land regular. Now at max throttle, I'm still gonna just fall all the way down onto that thing. Like a rock. Alright, level 36. So, Alkin's got titanium in 2.5 hours, but that's only a 4-bar mission, and it's a long ways to that base. Sullen, we can go directly to Sullen for a 5-bar mission. Sullen is gradually moving away from us, though. Nordvig will take a Bex 5 detonator, but they're all the way on this side of the planet. Same with the water, it's another 5-bar. So we could just wait for Nordvig again. But if we're gonna wait for Nordvig, well, this will take us to Greenhouse. And this is really close. And we'll never do that otherwise. Where's Greenhouse? Greenhouse is on the way out too. But, you know what? I like the Greenhouse. So we'll do that. And this mission's been here for a long time. Alright, so now we need to find the base. Oh my goodness. What did it say? No, I don't even know. Base 159. We'll put a marker on that so that we know which one it is from without having to get too close. Oh, we don't even need it. The container is already marked. And then we're just going to time skip until Greenhouse. But Greenhouse is a low altitude station. That means its time skip is a little bit shorter. Because it travels less distance, it gets there quicker. So it could be possible that we go to Greenhouse and then transfer over to Nordvig or something like that. And complete a mission at that other base, at the other station, without ever going to the ground after Greenhouse. Which is an ideal situation. We'll see what's near Greenhouse when we get there. This is going to be kind of hard because it's not on flat ground, and it's hard for me to tell if I'm flat or not. I need to watch that second indicator right there. Landing pads, everything is already flat. You can see that container bouncing as the physics load in when I get close. But it's hard to tell how flat I am on a horizon that's not flat itself. I just have to wait for the motion. Oh, jeez. Alright, so now I gotta reach greenhouse. And I guess that's the launch site over there.
TL01, base 154 ground. We've got eyes on you. Welcome.
Greenhouse is in 54 minutes. Oh, actually, let me try to clear this nav marker. And then we're at 0.1, so we're barely off, so flying east is not that big of a deal. Altitude is only 185, so it'll be a short trip up to the circularization burn. Only thing we've got to fly up over this building right here. Kind of in the way. But it should be no trouble. That 50x time skip sure is nice. There used to be no time skip. And then from space stations there was still only a 10x. And then there was a 20x on the ground. And now there's that 50x time skip. Really saves a lot of waiting. A lot of wait time. Oh jeez. Flying through the storm here. Dust storm. get there though. Throw some trim on. I think it was about a 6 or a 7 that leveled us off when we were loading with the container. There goes an air cargo. There goes the land base. Yep, we're going perfectly. There's Montaigne Station. But there's the greenhouse. So while we have the freight, we actually accelerate pretty slowly. So we don't really need to kind of kill the engines, I think. Normally around 40 kilometers, you end up wanting to kill the engines a little bit, waiting for your instrumentation to pop up, and then set your apoapsis. Otherwise, you get kind of way out in front of the station. But with the freight container, I think we're okay to just, yeah, burn all the way up to 185. Once we're past 120, I'm gonna level off for the circularization burn. We got a problem here. We're flying north, but we needed to be flying south. So I'm gonna put my inclination at a nice value to move us back the other direction. Hopefully we'll be closer to 0 by the time we circularize. And greenhouse is already getting close. We're already at 140 kilometers altitude. We only need to go with 185, so. Won't be long now. I don't see any stations nearby though. I was kind of thinking, oh, that would be cool if one of our higher altitude stations was going to be having a mission, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. .1 and still moving closer to 0. Alright, so when we have this freight container, I think we need to be all the way out of like 180, 200, maybe even. Which means pretty soon. I'm gonna try 200. I'm gonna try. I'm just gonna go a little bit early, and then I'll get lined up after. We'll do this in a series of smaller burns instead of trying to burn perfectly all at once. We gotta start killing our inclination. Oh man, we are going perfectly at that station. I don't want to do anything. Alright, what's our velocity? Oh, I really needed to keep that burn on though. So I didn't think about that one. So we might need to be at like 250 for the freight container. For some reason I'm thinking 150, but I'm just thinking backwards. That's okay. almost catching back up to him. One little speed wobble never hurt anyone. Alright, there we go. Alright, we better get flipped around here. I don't want to be crashing into that space station. Alright. Probably wanted to have a little bit more velocity left over. We'll just go find ourselves a dock port before we go to the landing pad. Should be one like right there. .7, 1.6, 1.5, 1.4, 1. We're getting close. All right. Just take a minute, get docked to this dock port. Get our little docking practice in. Might be a little bit overzealous on our approaching thrust. I think we got it though. All right. Oh my goodness. Pause. Alright, my controller disconnected. So I just gotta reconnect my controller and the driver. I don't know why that happened, but every once in a while that happens. Alright, I gotta unplug my controller. I'm not sure where something froze up. Something froze up. Now I'm grabbing a whole bunch of thrust. It's just flying me off out into space. What is this thing, built by Boeing? Wow, that sure was a lot of flying all over the place. I tell you. That's what happens when you use that docking port. the craziest things happen. But we made it. And now we're just going to undock and fly over to this, oops, wrong direction.
Operator TL01 Greenhouse Station. You are go for docking.
And that's only a 4-bar mission. We're not going to get a whole lot of experience out of that. But actually, we might have been pretty close to 37. Oh, and 3612, that's not too bad. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be at level 37 by the end of this. So there's really only 38, 39, 40 after that. And that's going to be the end of this episode. So that was episode 25 of Rogue Mode 0 to 40. And we will be approaching... We'll be about halfway to 38. Yeah, quarter of the way to 38. That's not too bad. One big mission, we'll be almost there. But thanks for watching.